Hi everyone, this is Paul Stewart here from Elite Wealth Property again. Just going to run you through a quick case study dated June 2024. Like with all things, this is client specific and I've simplified things as best I can. Just gives you a flavour of an example of what we're doing here. To start with, we have a client scenario. We have a client who wants to invest into UK property. And in this particular case, there's 5 million of the purchase price, that's in sterling, and the rent that will be generated is £450,000. Now, prior to us being involved, the client was expecting everything to end up in a limited company and for the corporate taxes on the rent to be based at 25%. So, let's have a look. First part of the conversation is to discuss with the client what proportion of the 5 million they wish to put through the tax planning structure and what proportion they would like to leave outside of the tax planning structure. Now, it doesn't make any difference to the tax savings on the rent, but it does make a difference on things like inheritance tax. It also makes a difference in terms of flexibility and future plans. So first part of the conversation we always have is how they want to split their capital between inside and outside of the tax planning structure. So in this case, we've got £2 million that drops into the QNUTS, the qualifying non-UK pension scheme, which is fairly standard. Then the secret sauce happens. That money then goes into the genuinely diverse commercial vehicle. And that's 2 million on the table ready for the property purchase. And the remaining 3 million actually comes in by way of a loan. And when we talk about tax structures, everyone thinks that this end result on the right-hand side is going to be some extremely exotic thing they've never heard of because they haven't actually heard of this planning before. But no, what ends up happening is that all of the money ends up in a UK limited company registered at Companies House. The client will be the director and the shareholder and the signatory to the bank account. The client can, of course, choose friends or family or anyone in the UK that they wish to undertake that duty for them. But it's a tax-exempt UK company, and that's where the secret sauce comes in terms of the genuinely diverse commercial vehicle making that entire company tax-exempt. So what are the tax benefits? So let's have a quick look. Again, just to make sure you're comfortable with things, we've got a bog standard UK limited company. It's got £5 million and it's buying a property, and that property is going to generate £450,000 of rent. First thing is there's absolutely no tax on the rent, and in corporate tax terms, that's £112,500 a year, every year being saved. So over 10 years, that's over £1 million of tax saved just on the rent, which is pretty awesome. There's also no withholding tax on the loan interest, and a lot of other structures that you may have come across involve lending money into a UK company. But the Inland Revenue in the UK, they've got wise to that, and they'll charge 20% tax on the interest that's coming to an offshore lender. So in terms of the 2 million that are going into the structure, that is tax exempt from inheritance tax. So 40% of the 2 million, that's 800,000 of inheritance tax being saved immediately up front. And there's no tax on the future sale of the property. So assuming corporate tax rates are going to be 25% in the future, that's 25% of whatever gain is going to happen in the future. And this is quite important where people are buying a property that they want to redevelop. You can run a property business inside this tax exempt structure. It's not just for holding investments. And these tax benefits apply even if the client were to return to be tax resident in the UK. They also apply irrespective of which government gets in, because the underlying legislation is basic statutory law and won't be affected by most of the tax changes that any of the parties are currently talking about. When I talk about UK tax on investments and property deals being at 0%, we really do mean it. Totally tax exempt UK limited company, and everything is bespoke for clients. Everything that happens is down to the detail of what they want to do and how they want to structure things. Please don't hesitate to book a call. We're more than happy to talk. And I hope this has been of some use. Thank you. Bye-bye.